Hey guys, it's Elle. Welcome to my channel. I'm so glad you guys are here. So today we are talking all about eyeliner. This is a highly requested basic 101 tutorial that we're doing for you today. So if you want to know how to line your eyes, let's do it. So you are super close because again, we are talking about lining our eyes. Now we are talking mostly about lining our eyes for more of a mature eye. So more of a mature eye shape. So all of the things that kind of come into play when you do have more mature eyes, which means, folding, crepiness, small wrinkles, things of that nature, and even aging eyes. So even as early as your beginning 30s, your eyes start to completely change. They change shapes, they get a little bit looser up here. And so the way that we line our eyes changes a little bit, and we can make that a little bit more flattering. So a couple housekeeping things for this topic is there is no right or wrong way to line your eyes when you have any kind of eye. This is just my tips on what I have noticed works in the field, my clients, and of course myself. Some tips that we can take away is usually more mature eyes really benefit from a diffused line, which basically means something that isn't harsh. So probably not a cat liner, things like that. Of course, there are always exceptions to the rule, but usually the best practices are to use something that's diffused or that you can smudge out, if that makes sense. As well as most mature eyes benefit from tight lining. Now, a lot of you guys have asked requests on how to tight line, and I want to show you guys how and why it is so important. Now, I really highly recommend you use a specific tight lining pencil. Marc Jacobs makes an amazing one. Lots of brands make a really fantastic ones. I believe Sephora collection has some. I know that there are some out on the market as far as drugstore options. But the reason why we tight line is because it's going to boost up our lash line. It's going to make our lashes appear thicker and more full at the base. It's also going to create a little bit more dimension and definition that aging eyes really can benefit from. So I am actually just going to be using, this is the Flower Forever Wear long wearing eyeliner. So I use in this tight line, this water line up here, something that is long wearing, waterproof, transfer resistant, things like that, because a lot of times you'll notice that the bottom waterline will have a little bit of transfer, or when you tight line, it won't stay on. So you want to get those formulas that are longer wearing and waterproof. Now, what I do is I'm awful at this. I will tell you already. I can do it on clients all day long, but on myself, I twitch and do all sorts of weird things, so don't get scared when you're seeing this. But what I like to do is, I have a mirror right here. So what I like to do is I like to take the fine tip. So if you're using a pencil, make sure you sharpen it so that it has a very precise tip. I like these because basically they stay pretty fine and kind of micro the whole time you have them. So I look down at my mirror, I give my eye a good pull, and I go along the lash line. Okay? Now, pulling the eye up, we don't really want to tug at our eyes, but there's no really great way to do it until you get super comfortable, and then you barely have to give your eye a little bit of a tug. I will be honest with you, I have to give my eye quite a bit of a tug to get this done. So you will notice if you look at both eyes that the lash line on this side appears a lot more defined, and the eye shape looks a lot more defined and full than the other eye. This will not close the eye up if you have a smaller eye shape. Again, it just has helped defining the shape of our eye and also increasing the depth or the density of our lash line. Now, for lining the top line, which is up here, what I like to do is I like to get a little mirror, and what I do is so I can close one eye and keep another one open, which is fantastic when you're trying to do this, is I like to do these back and forth motions, and this pencil is extremely creamy, so I don't have to worry about it skipping. I don't even care if it skips because we're going to smudge it. And I'm just gonna do these back and forth motions as close to the lash line as possible. Then I'm gonna get a little tiny brush and start to diffuse this out a little bit. And basically make this line less harsh. And now what that's gonna do is it's obviously going to frame the eye and all of that good stuff that liner is for, but if you keep it really thin, it will not close the eye up. So keep it as thin as possible, and then you're able to diffuse it and create a little bit more of a shadow. Now this is the important tidbit. We are going to gently pull on the eye and kick this out ever so slightly. I am not adding any more product. I am literally just going straight out. And what that does is it elongates the eye ever so slightly. It creates a shadow instead of a definite harsh line. It creates softness. This is a very modern approach to eyeliner that I absolutely love and use quite often. Do you see how pretty that is? Now, if you want to, you can go over it with a, let's see here, small detailer brush in a dark brown. I'm just using, this is my L'Oreal Nude Intense palette. I'm just gonna use this guy right here. And this eye shape really benefits from going over this liner just on the outside and kind of kicking it into the crease. Again, you don't have to do that, but it does really open up the eye and give this eye type some dimension that it's really lacking, and especially on the outside of the eye, which is going to open up the eyes, make them longer, make them more feline looking, and just really give an overall nice shape. I actually really like this eye more than I do this, especially with the tight lining. And then of course you can take a brush that has nothing on it and, you know, diffuse away just to make sure you have no harsh lines. But I really like going over that liner with a deep brown color. You can even start with a navy blue. You can start with a brown, which I really love on more mature eyes, as something less harsh than black. I really love on mature eyes navy blues, hunter greens, beautiful deep purples, because it just adds some light to the eye and doesn't have such a stark line of black. So just to recap, you want to definitely tight line the inner rim. You want to smudge the liner out with a small detailer brush and then take a little bit of your powder eyeshadow and go over it and gently into the crease to really drive home that liner and crease definition. Now, something else to keep in mind is if you are a beginner with eyeliner is to use your favorite eyeshadow. Eyeshadow is very easily blended out if you make a mistake. It also is really very fixable, I guess I should say. So you can really take a little bit of an eye primer or a little bit of your foundation and kind of smudge it out like it has never been there before. It's a little harder to do when you're using different formulas, so just gradually work with it. It's something that definitely does take a little bit of practice. If you do get a little transfer down on this bottom waterline, just take a little cotton bud, Q-tip, and just gently rub it in this line and it will be gone. I also did want to say that if you have more hooded eyes or eyelids that really severely kind of come down on this bottom lash line, I want you to really try this technique out and see how much it opens the eye up. If you do have those eye shapes, make sure that you're keeping all of the color on the outside third of the eye so it gives an optical illusion of really opening the eye up and creating more space. So I hope that helped you guys. I hope that this is going to help you in your everyday routine, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Lots of love from me to you. Mwah. Bye, you guys.